All right, this next section is based on getting paid commissions, royalties, or piecework pay. Okay, so we're going to look at how much pay you're getting from each of those and kind of the advantages and disadvantages of being paid that way. So first thing, pay based on production, not based on your hours, like stockbrokers, travel agents, authors, musicians, realtors, salespeople. Those are all types of people that get paid that way. Somebody know and have a parent or anything that's any of those jobs? Neil? Which job? So he gets paid based on, oh, he's on commissions. Okay. Gotcha. And we'll look at some today where you kind of got different like tiers just like that. Like you get paid this percent for this much sales, anything over that, you get another percentage. We're going to look at some today. Then there's commissions and royalty pay. It's usually a percentage paid based on sales made. So it's exactly what Neil was just saying. The more sales you make, the more money you make. And a salary sometimes is also earned on top of commission. So like I know, I have a friend who used to sell like Aflac insurance, and he made, a base rate, for whatever, but then he also made more for the more policies that he was able to sell. So he got a percentage of every policy. So obviously if you're real driven, like you're somebody that's a go-get-em, you're good with people, you can talk people into anything and getting them to buy stuff, that's a great way to make money. You can make a ton. But if you have a slow week, you may not make much money that week. That to me would stress me out. Like I'm a planner, like I need to know I have this many dollars at this time, like I have to know that. That would drive me crazy. Another type of job like that is, like my brother is a photographer. So those of you who've seen your pictures, let me know. He's an incredible photographer, but certain times of the year, people aren't always getting pictures taken. So, money is really slow sometimes. Whereas when he loves doing senior pictures, senior pictures usually are in the fall, sometimes going into the winter a little bit. He's busy all the time, makes a ton of money, but then like January, February, March is usually pretty dead. There's not a lot of weddings that time of year. There's not seniors getting pictures taken. So this is his slow season. All right. Also, there's piecework rate. I don't think it's as common anymore as in a lot of jobs as it used to be. It's a rate paid to someone for each item they complete. Again, guys, on definitions, write what makes sense to you. You don't necessarily have to write everything on there. So they may earn an hourly wage in addition to piecework pay. Not as common today as it was in the past, but some jobs are like farming, manufacturing, journalism, still paid that way. If you guys have seen Spider-Man, right? When he takes pictures of Spider-Man, Peter Parker, he gets paid like for every picture of his that they take. That's an example of piecework rate. Sometimes people get paid like farming, like if they're picking bushels of apples or something, I don't know. Then they might get paid based on how many they actually pick for the day. It's a good way to motivate people to work harder, I would think. Whereas if you just got paid, per the hour, you might take your time and not work as hard. My husband always laughs every time we get behind somebody driving super slow, like in a company vehicle. He's like, "Wow, they're paid by the hour," because they are taking their time driving slow. He used to work for Carter Lumber and like would take deliveries all the time, and he got paid by the hour. And he's like, "I drove the speed limit, maybe 5 under." He's like, "I took my time. There was no reason to rush." Whereas you guys see truck drivers sometimes who are based on miles, so they're going to drive faster. Now there's more regulations to keep them from doing that, but yep. So definitely different ways to get paid other than just hourly rates. Anybody in here have a job that's different than just a flat hourly rate? Can you think of anything that's paid piecework rate that I did not mention? It's not as obvious of a way to get paid. we good? All right. So example 1, Adriana wrote a textbook for high school students. She receives a 10% royalty based on the total sales of the books. The book sells for $47.95 and 17,000 copies were sold last year. How much did Adriana receive in royalty payments for last year? So what do we have to figure out first? Yeah, the total amount of sales. Okay, so she's got a textbook that sells for $47.95 and it sold 17,000 copies. Right, so we got to figure out what was her total sales first. Nice, $815,150 in total sales. Does she get all that? No, she gets 10% of that. All right, so then we're going to have to take that number and multiply by 10%. What is 10% as a decimal? 0.1 or point, if you like to see the 10, 0.10. All right, so multiply that by 10%. So how much money did she make? $81,515. That's not so bad for the year, right? Now, also something to kind of keep in mind, a situation like this, does she keep making that percentage year after year after year if her book keeps selling? Yeah. So it's like it's out there and she gets to keep making money no matter what. Like that job is done. She keeps making money off of it. It's kind of like myself and Mrs. McCourt. Any of you had Mrs. McCourt at all for anything? One of you? Her and I, we sell things on Teacher Pay Teacher, the website. Teachers can sell like their lesson plans and things like that. Like we put stuff on there like 2 years ago and I still get emails that people buy it and I make money off of it. It's kind of cool. It's already out there. I make money on the side from doing stuff like that. Right. Example 2, Allison sells cosmetics part-time door-to-door. She is paid a monthly commission. She receives 11% of her first $900 in sales and 17% of the balance of her sales. In other words, anything over 900, she's going to make 17%. Last month, she sold $1,250 worth of cosmetics. How much commission did she earn last month? All right, well, we know she makes, it says 11% of the first 900. Okay, so 11% would be 0.11 times 900 plus she's going to make 17%. And when it says the balance of her sales, that means anything over the 900. So how much more than 900 did she actually sell? 350. Yeah, it said she sold 1250 altogether. Here's 900 of it. The rest of it's going to be another 350. So that's going to help us figure out how much she actually made in commission. So we can just type that right in the calculator. So last month, was it worth it for her to go door to door? She made $158.50. Neil, that is such a true statement. Did you guys hear what he said? It depends how you value your time. I mean, did she do all that by just, maybe going to a couple houses and done? Or did she go like every single day, door to door, spend hours and hours? Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot in cosmetics. I mean, to make only $158, is that worth it? In my opinion, I would say no. But maybe she just really enjoys it and it's just extra spending cash for her and she gets to visit with people. Maybe she enjoys it. Okay. So down here, I did have this on here. This will show up later in your notes as well. Just kind of the idea of how we set these up, right? So the percent of the first sales plus the percent, and this is your balance, right? You take your total minus that first one. That's what we did up here. We took the 1250, we subtracted this. That's where that came from. That equals our commission. Any guess what's going to come up later in the notes? What am I going to ask you probably later? Yeah, we're going to do an equation later. I'm going to ask you what her sales were later. So this type of formula of how we set this up is going to come back again. Okay? All right. right, example 3. Kate works in a dress factory that makes dresses for designer boutiques. She is paid a piecework rate of $85 per unit or per piece produced. Yesterday, she made 3 dresses. How much did she earn? So what do I have to do for this one? Yeah, just multiply. Right? 3 dresses, she gets $85 for each dress that she makes. Look at that. She made in one day $255, whereas the other woman for the entire month made $158. Shoot, I might make dresses instead of sell cosmetics door to door. So not every problem super hard, right? Example 4. Tony picks strawberries, gets paid at a piecework rate of 45 cents per container for the first 200 containers picked. He receives 65 cents per container for every container over 200 that he picks. Last week, Tony picked 270 containers. So how much did he earn? So this one's kind of similar to that percentage one we did, right? He makes so much for this part, and then anything over, he makes a different amount. So he makes 45 cents, which would be 0.45 per container for the first 200. Did he pick at least 200? Yeah. Right, so 45 cents for the first 200, plus he's going to get 65 cents, 0.65, for every container over 200. So how many did he pick over 200? 70, because he did 200 altogether. So there's, or 270. So there's 200, here's the other 70. And we want to know, how much did he make? What'd you say? 135.50. Did you guys confirm? Yep, 135.50. So that's not so bad, right? Is it better to sell cosmetics, or is it better to do that? Where did you make more money? How careful did you guys read? Where do you make more money? Picking strawberries or selling cosmetics? Very good. Read carefully. Yeah, the cosmetics was for the month. This says for the week. There it goes, last week. Right? So it's still better to pick strawberries. So far, though, what was the better job? Where'd you make the most money so far? You'd make dresses. Yeah, they made $255 in a day. All right, example 5. Glassman Chevrolet pays commission to its car salespeople. They are paid a percent of the profit the dealership makes on the car, not on the selling price of the car. That's why if you go to a dealership and you're trying to haggle and get a cheaper price, they don't want to. You're losing money when they sell it to you for a cheaper price. All right, so if the profit is under $750, the commission rate is 20%. If the profit's at least $750 and less than or equal to $1,000, they get 22% of the profit. And if the profit's above $1,000, they get 25% of the profit. So you guys kind of see like we have tiers, right? Depending on what the profit is, depends on what percent we get. All right, so if the profit is $695, what is the percent commission rate? Good. It says if the profit is under $750, which this is, the commission rate is 20%. So this one would be 20%. Just kind of look and see. Some people get all flustered, like there's way too many numbers, way too many percents. I don't know what to do with that. But it's just like if it's here, here, or here, like you're falling into different ranges. All right, so what is the commission on a car sold for a $1,200 profit? Good, that would be a 25%. Now, did this question just ask for the percent? No, it actually said, what is the commission? So we know it's 25% because right here, the profit's above $1,000, the rate's 25%. So it's a $1,200 profit, I get to keep 25% of that. What's 25% of 1,200? That is 300, good. All right, so just be careful what the question's asking you, right? Part A said, what is the commission rate? So I just wanted the percent. This one asked, what is the commission? So you actually needed to give me the dollar figure. It's a lot of what? Oh, you're looking at the next one. Sample 6. Joyce works at Fortunato's Furniture. It's a weird name. She is paid on commission. She receives 10% of her first $900 in sales and 15% of the balance, so anything over $900. Last week, she earned $750. What was the total value of the furniture sold? So if you look at the formula that we got going on down here, which parts do we know? Let's fill it in, okay? So what's the 10%? Where's that going to fit? Obviously one of the percents. Is it the first one or the second one? First one, right? It's 10% of her first 900. So I know it's 10%, so 0.10. Do I know the first sales? Okay, it has to be of the first 900, right? That number is not going to change unless you earn less than that, but I don't think that's true. Plus, do we know the other percent? 15%, so 0.15. Do we know her total sales? No. If I don't know the total sales, what do I put? X. Minus, do I know the first sales? That was 900. We already figured that one right there. And then do we know what her commission was that she earned? 750. Right there. She earned 750. So really, I have the one variable in there. I just don't know the total sales. So we just got to clean this up. All right, so what's 0.10 times 900? That's 90. Plus, what am I going to have to do with this 0.15? Good. You're going to distribute that, right? So 0.15x, then 0.15 times negative 900, so minus 135 equals 750. All right, you guys with me so far? What should I do next? Good. We got some like terms in there. So 90 minus 135 is negative 45 plus 0.15x equals 750. Then we'll add the 45. So 0.15x equals 795. And then divide. So what do we get for x? 5,300. So she sold $5,300 in furniture. Is that a lot? Does anybody know what like a nice couch actually costs? Yeah, if you actually buy like a nice couch, you're looking at $1,000 or more. So really, she sold like maybe 5 couches. You know what I mean? Like, that's not unreasonable to think that she sold that much in furniture. Questions there? That's probably the hardest question you're going to get, something like that. If you were cool with that, then you're good with this section. All right, last one. Lauren is a salesperson at TireMan. She is paid a monthly commission. She receives 6% of her first $1,000 in sales and 11% of the balance of her sales, so anything over $1,000. Today, she earned $203. What was the total value of the tires she sold? So how do you know that this is an algebra one versus like just plug in the numbers and go? It didn't give you the total amount of sales. It says that she earned 203. So if they give you how much money she made, like her commission, you're going to have to do algebra to work it backwards. So let me give you guys a couple minutes, see if you guys can do this one on your own. All right, so when we go to set this up, the first percent is 6%. Some of you had an issue right there. Some of you had 0.6. What's 0.6? That's 60%. Big difference from 6%. Okay, so just be careful on that. Your first sales is $1,000. Plus, my percentage on the second one is 11%. times my total sales, which I don't know, minus the first sales. And they made $203. Okay, so that should have been your initial setup. Then we're just going to clean this up. So this gives me 60. We have to distribute here. So 0.11x minus, is that 110? Some of you did this next step a little differently, which is totally fine. I put like terms together. Some of you added the 110 and then subtracted the 60. Totally fine, does not matter. I put my like terms, so I get negative 50. Okay, we have to add the 50 to the other side. So that gives us 253. Divide by 0.11. So x equals 2,300. Okay. Overall, you guys did pretty good on that one.